Rowan, nice to meet you.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing well, thanks. Where are we finding you today? Are you back in Vancouver?
I'm in the Okanagan.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
I'm in Vernon on Cal Lake. I'll show you guys. Go ahead, flip this around. This is where I'm sitting right now.
Oh yeah,
Pretty dead up here right now.
that's good
Uh,
though. Easy to social distance when it's nice and dead, right?
Very cold, yeah.
That's great. I'm really happy that you could join me here today. I know that this is pretty tough situation, but I'm glad that you could make the time to chat with us and let the Baseball BC people out there kind of get an insight.
Yeah, obviously not ideal what's going on, but yeah, like you said, I think BC's doing a pretty good job. Um, yeah, I guess just keep it up. Whatever you guys are doing, stay inside.
So just to kick off, you played for the Vancouver Cannons, which is unfortunately not a team anymore, but back in the day, coached by the great Dave Empey. And I was wondering, just any memories or highlights from playing for the Cannons, teammates that you want to say, give a shout out to, anything like that?
Yeah, well, obviously the Cannons aren't around anymore. I don't know how long they were around for, but Dave was the coach there. I still keep in contact with him for sure. He's always got tips. He watches, I think, all my outings, and whenever something goes on, he's quick to send me an email and adjust or have some sort of insight on what went wrong. Or, anyways, something I learned from him probably was just to always hustle, even when no one's looking. Just put your head down and run out to right field or center field or wherever, you know what I mean? Like just for good habit. For that was something that I definitely learned from Dave, obviously along with a lot of other things, but that was something that stuck out.
So you graduated in 2010. Do you remember kind of any notable names that would have been in the PBL around that time?
Uh, yeah, well, first rounder, Kellen Deglin, he was,
Yeah.
I played on the national team with him. And then guys like Alex Kalbick, Tommy Robson. He was actually, he was a Cannon for maybe a year or two. And, honestly, I can't remember a whole lot. There was some guys from the island like Paul Barton. I remember he was pretty good that year. But yeah,
I remember facing Tom Robson at Canada Cup, and I think he threw two complete game shutouts with like 25 Ks and like 17 innings.
yeah, he was pretty elite in high school, that's for sure.
So you got drafted that high school year, 19th round, and you didn't sign. You opted to go to college. Any thoughts or what was the reasoning behind not signing out of high school?
I just think I wasn't ready to go play pro ball, and definitely looking back, it was the right move. I just think I was a little too young, wasn't ready for that life. And then my mom wanted me to do some school, which ended up being good, but yeah, it was just not the right situation. And then I got fortunate enough to enter the draft again after my sophomore year at Cypress. So ended up working out for the best and got drafted by the Cardinals and a little higher up in the draft. So that was ideal.
Drafted as a catcher.
As a catcher, yeah. I
Yeah,
was drafted as a catcher both times.
right. Yeah. Um, your time at JUCO. So you said you weren't quite, I guess, grown up enough to sign your major or your minor league contract out of high school. What changed for you in those 2 years at JUCO?
Yeah, just kind of living on my own. Obviously in high school I lived at home, but just kind of getting my feet wet in the real world. I mean, what's up, Kraus? Um, yeah, just like doing my own laundry, cooking for myself, and I don't know, having to get myself to practice and just be organized as a human being. That was big for me. Yeah, I was 2 years older as well, so kind of had my feet underneath me, and then from there I was just kind of ready to go. It
Obviously, being drafted 10 rounds higher gives you a little bit more slot money too, I'm sure.
was good.
So you got drafted as a catcher, as we already said, and you raked. And so in 2014, you had a 990 OPS, and in 2015, you became a pitcher. So that transition, like, I mean, I think to the average person taking a look at that stat sheet and seeing you going from 20 bombs, 990 OPS, and then getting turned into a pitcher a year later, I mean, obviously, you're in the mid to upper 90s, so it was pretty easy to see that you had a cannon. But what happened there? Why'd they talk to you about transitioning?
Well, I mean, anybody that watched me hit in the PBL knew that I wasn't that great at hitting. I definitely struggled a little bit in high school, but I mean, I guess people saw my potential. The 2014 season, well, the 2013 season was pretty good as well, but 2014 I kind of went off, and even though it was a half season, I started whatever in June. That's when short season started. I ended up having some pretty good numbers. And then, I mean, even that year I got sent up to low A, which is full season ball, and they kind of got torn apart. Wasn't pretty, put it that way. But I don't know, man. It was meant to be. I think that even previous years they had talked about, wow, you have such a great arm, you should try pitching. I mean, everyone kind of told me that, even in junior college. But I mean, I always wanted to hit. My dad always wanted me to hit. I wanted to hit, so I kept hitting and had a little bit of success. But yeah, I think it was meant to be the pitching thing.
Well, I mean, definitely got you up to the major leagues.
It wasn't easy, but it wasn't as hard as I thought either. I mean, definitely having some good life on my heater helps, but definitely throwing the other pitches like curveball, slider now have taken some time, and obviously still always working on it.
Right. So you played that was a mid-season transition from player to pitcher, right?
In 2015, yeah. So I show up to spring training in 2015 as a hitter and go to high A, broke with the team, go through April, half of May, and then I was struggling pretty hard. I think I was hitting like 200 with 3 home runs and just no numbers to back myself up. So they pulled me in and they said, hey, you're going to pitch. And I was pretty bummed about it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it was their decision. And they kind of gave me the ultimatum. So I ended up coming back here. I spent maybe a week back in BC, kind of just took some time to unload and just relax, came up to the lake and kind of thought about it a little more, but ended up going back, obviously. And yeah, it's all, the rest is history. Those months after May, I went back to extended spring training, and then I went through the GCL, and then I went to instructional league, and I think I only threw like 9 innings in that whole span. So I dealt with a lot of arm issues, and then obviously learning just the strike zone to start, and then the curveball, and then learning to actually pitch and recover and do your arm care, and then just lifting a different way and preparing more running, like all stuff that pitchers do, the hitters don't, right? Like as a hitter, your life is like in a cage, right? And shagging BP. Well, I mean, pitchers shag a whole lot of BP too, but different, right? It's different.
Yeah.
So just learning that side of the game was part of it as well. But yeah, my work on the mound has become fun for me, and baseball is. I mean, that's why you play it, right? Have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there any surprises?
Surprises? A couple times in the minor leagues, I threw a pitch, ball hit to first base, and then the guy just ran to first. I forgot to cover. That was a big one for me. Had to learn to get over to first base on a ground ball to the right side.
As a catcher, you didn't yell "get over" enough times.
I'd guess, or I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. So you finally make it up to the bigs after a few years in the transition and having quite a storied minor league career in terms of what you had to go through. Not a lot of guys, I'm sure, have had to go through that same thing, but you finally make it up August 31st, 2018 against Colorado, and you get to finish out that game. So I saw in the box score that you guys scored, or San Diego scored 5 in the 8th. Were you scheduled to go in the 9th either way?
Yeah, no, I actually wasn't. So, well, that day I woke up in Fresno, which was AAA for the Astros at the time. Woke up in Fresno, flew through Phoenix to El Paso, got told in El Paso, flew back through Phoenix, show up to San Diego like 6 o'clock, game started at 6, and then head out to the bullpen like mid-game, ran across because there's no way around, like through the tunnel, there's no tunnel, so I ran across the field. Everyone's like, oh, I guess Wick's here, so that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, so like I wasn't scheduled to throw that inning at all. And then the phone rings and they're like, hey, if we score another two, I think then I'm in. So I start to get loose, whatever. And I mean, from there, it's a blur, to be honest. Had a pitching coach tell me, Dom Johnson, he said, when you get out foul pole, kind of take it all in. And so that's what I did. I remember doing that. And I remember the run from the outfield to the mound. It was pretty cool. Like my legs were just floating. I was just floating, man. It was sweet. So yeah, and then I think I threw 12 strikes and game was over. It was fast, happened fast.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 inning.
Yeah.
Who's catching you?
Hedgie, Austin Hedges.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the best receivers in baseball.
yeah, for sure. He's
Did he
awesome.
say anything to kind of calm you down a little bit?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that 1, 2, 3 inning, and that first year with San Diego. Yeah, if you look at the sheet, it looks like you struggle, but really one pitch, and that's the only home run you've given up in your whole career so far. I guess if you're gonna have the first and only so far, it might as well be a grand slam, right?
Yeah, it was in Cincinnati. And then the other run that I gave up was Madison Baumgartner. They walked it off against us in like the 13th inning. And yeah, Madison Baumgartner hit the single. It started the inning triple in like the gap of AT&T, and then I think like two pitches later, he had a line drive. But no, it was pretty good September. That was, I mean, you get called up, you're kind of living pretty good. So wasn't complaining too much. And it's, yeah.
So you finished that September, and you finished your kind of first taste of the big leagues. Was there any point in that month where you kind of felt like I'm a big leaguer now, or were you always kind of like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
know?
definitely not. Like it definitely didn't sink in until like some point last year. But I mean, definitely getting that taste. And I mean, you never know if you're going to get back up, but you definitely had to enjoy it. Like that September was definitely something that never forget that for sure. It was a great group of guys I was with down there in San Diego, and it was a good way to kick off my career for sure.
What kind of approach do you take going into that off season?
I mean, yeah, you want more, right? So you definitely don't sit back and watch. You're in the gym. I'm working out, playing catch, obviously, and I go down to San Diego and work with my pitching coach before spring. So that's what I did, and yeah, lift big, throw hard. That's for sure. No, but then I got traded to the Cubs from the Padres, like November 20 something. Anyways, kind of didn't see it coming, but knew the Padres had some guys to protect. They didn't have much roster room, and I guess the Cubs had some space, and they had a guy that the Padres wanted, so that's how that went. Yeah. Obviously, more winning franchise, the Cubs, but it was awesome being a Padre for sure. That was a great city to start my career in.
I'm sure coming up through that organization for a little bit there must have been pretty nice too. They're one of the more respected organizations in baseball in terms of minor league and development.
Yeah, the Cubs. I mean, the Padres. I played in Double-A with Tatis and Naylor and Quantrill. Those guys are a couple Canadians, but studs for sure. The farm system the Padres had was foolish. They were stacked, top to bottom. Logan Allen we had. It was awesome for sure to play with guys that, you know what I mean, you knew were going to play in the big leagues, and yeah, learn from each and every one of them. A lot of them were younger than me too, so it was kind of like, you better get your butt in gear,
Yeah,
right?
For sure. So that trade happens. You end up in Chicago, and were you at big league spring that year?
Yeah, I was on the roster. I was in big league. That was last spring with the Cubs. Yeah, that was something for sure. It was like Chris Bryant's right there. You know, Addison Russell, KB. I mean, sorry, I said KB, Rizzo, Lester. Like all those guys was kind of a little intimidating for sure. But keep your mouth shut and get your work in. So it was good. It was definitely what I needed to, get my career started with the Cubs was that spring. It was awesome.
Yeah.
My catcher, he's watching right now, Taylor Davis. He's he's stud for sure. He's with the Orioles now. He's a guy that said lift big, throw hard. He was my catcher. He's definitely what I needed in AAA. Yeah, I went to AAA, up and down 3 times I think, and just gaining confidence last year a lot in AAA and getting my feet underneath me and learning the zone, learning my pitches a lot for sure. It was a good couple months down there, and then go back up to the big leagues. Obviously, from the time that I spent with the Padres to the Cubs, I knew that I had to go back down to the minor leagues and had an option left. So kind of use it to my advantage and learn some things about myself. It was a good time. Well, it wasn't great, but big leagues better. But it was fun for sure.
You mentioned you kind of playing with some new pitches. Like I read an article that said that you were developing a knuckle curve that year.
Yeah, so last spring I developed the knuckle curve. It's just like putting the thumb from there to there on the ball. Definitely took a little getting used to. Worked out for me pretty well though.
Yeah.
Then I learned that pitch in the lab. They have a lab, which is like slow-mo camera, release point, spin rate, all that. And it's like way over my head anyways. They messed with a couple grips and they're like, this is the best one. So went with the spike curve. Again, this spring went back in and was working on a slider. And it's basically the same grip as my fastball, just I don't spike it and I just throw a little harder, and it seems to be working all right. Haven't threw a couple of pitches in spring, but a couple of them in spring, but yeah, it's definitely something I'm working on.
So you usually back those two up. You throw like breaking ball in the dirt and then maybe slider for a strike.
Slider maybe, yeah, slider for a strike, slider behind the count, like a fastball count, like a 2-0 or a 2-1, or I don't know if I'm comfortable yet with it 3-1, but something behind in the count that I can steal a strike with, get back. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, I mean, in this spring, I definitely was trying to throw too many off-speed pitches, and I need to trust the heater a little more and kind of ride with that. Throw it until they can't hit it, or you know what I mean, until they're on it, right? So take advantage of the heater, and then the other two kind of complement it and make it better, and then the heater makes those two better. So it's you got to play with it.
You threw quite a few fastballs in 2019. I think I read like 65% or something like that, and then another 22% or something with the curveball. Is that usually like your 1-2 there, and then like you said, the sliders when you're behind in counts to try to steal a strike?
Yeah, slider's not a high percentage, but it definitely has to be there to put it in their mind, right? If it's your 8 to 10% pitch, you definitely have to throw it. Seems like you never throw it. Like last year, I don't even remember throwing a lot of last year was more of a cutter than a slider, but data tracked 2 different pitches. Anyways, yeah, like I throw innings with just my heater and 2 curveballs, or like, you know what I mean? Sometimes 8 fastballs, 3 curveballs, one cutter. But I definitely want to throw more cutters, more sliders this year, depending on how the league catches up to me and how you know what I mean, how I adapt with the league and whatever. But see how it goes. If we play at this point, shit.
Yeah. You like to throw that fastball up in the zone and then that curveball down in the bottom. Is that kind of for that new conversation around tunneling your pitches?
I mean, yeah, I think guys got pretty good at hitting the low ball, because that's what their pitchers were taught, was to throw down in the zone, and now try and get it above the zone with some velo. It's pretty effective for a lot of guys. And then curveball off of that, it looks like it's going to be the heater up, and then it drops down to the bottom or to the dirt, and can be effective as well.
Now, obviously, that was working because you threw about 70 innings last year, and you had like a 2.0 combined ERA in AAA and in the MLB. So, I mean, with that kind of success, I think a lot of people probably would be interested in your approach. When you get on the mound from your jog out from the pen, you get out on the mound. What kind of approach are you looking to take into your at-bats against the hitters?
Yeah, that jog out to the mound is, I think, one of the most important things guys definitely look past. When I was with the Padres in spring, they had a kind of like a conversation with a lot of us, and Trevor Hoffman was at the reins, and he said on his run to the mound, he was just in his mind thinking strike one, strike one, strike one. So you get it to the mound, you're strike one, you're already ahead. And then, I mean, that you repeat that for the second hitter and the third hitter, you just strike one, right? And I mean, that kind of embeds like an attack mentality. So you're out there, you're attacking the whole time, and you just, you know what I mean? You're throwing strikes, you're here it is, hit it sort of thing. And I think I kind of got a little advantage from my hitting days and seeing how hard it was to actually hit. So don't give them too much credit. And what's up, Hicks? Don't, yeah, he throws pretty hard too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyways, yeah, just stay in attack mode and don't give them too much credit. Don't try and nibble the corners. It's nice to hit the corners, but throw in the zone and see what they can do with it. You got 8 guys behind you, 7 guys behind you to make the plays.
So you grew up as a catcher, obviously you played outfield too, but how does that mentality from being a former catcher kind of translate to the mound? Does that help you?
Yeah, being in control, being in every play is it's nice. And when I went to the outfield, it's kind of like kicking rocks. But no, being in every pitch is good. It's nice. You're in control. You have the ball, and I mean, you're everything else plays off you. So as long as you're in control and your mentality is right, then you'll have some success. I think my phone's gonna die here pretty soon.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how to check that. I just got the 10% notification.
All right, we'll move through this quick.
Sorry.
I did have a question. You've thrown to a lot of really smart catchers like Luke Roy and Hedges, and I'm just curious, who's your favorite guy? I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to answer that.
Yeah, both those guys are awesome. Luke Roy he's good. He's keeps it loose. He'll come out there and I don't know, tell a joke or something. And Hedgie was awesome as well. But I really enjoyed throwing to Carantini and Contreras. Obviously, those are two main guys there. But Carantini's awesome. He's I don't know. Me and him we're on the same page a lot. So that was nice. He's a really good catcher. And I mean, obviously Contreras rakes, but Carantini, he can hit too from both sides.
Was there anybody that when you got with the Cubs and you broke with the major league team, was there anybody that kind of took you under their wing and kind of took you with them and brought you out to dinner and talked to you about the major league lifestyle, anything like that?
Yeah, the Cubs do a great job of having team dinners on the road and stuff. Guys in the bullpen like last year, Kinsler and like my sister was watching. She brought me a charger.
Hi.
Plug in. Anyways, no, obviously Kimbrel's that's a sweet guy to learn from for sure. He's got like 300 saves. I guess I'll just have to stand. No, when I was at the Padres, Craig Stammen was a guy that for sure would pull me aside and just kind of give me the lowdown. He was awesome for sure. He was like our dad in that bullpen. This lighting is really bad. I'm sorry. No, for sure. Learning from obviously a lot of veterans is something that all the rookies do. So as long as you keep your ears open, you'll learn something for sure.
How was it playing for one of the most colorful managers in the MLB, Joe Madden, last year?
Yeah, I mean he's awesome. He's like the cool guy. He's definitely player's manager, awesome guy. Wish him the best with the Angels. He's awesome.
Any funny stories? You guys did some pajama flights, stuff like that?
Yeah, that wasn't really him, I don't think. But no, you'll just see him walking down the hallway in the locker room with his bowl of prosciutto or whatever. He's hilarious for sure. Door always open, but yeah, nothing specific. Right. Remember our last game in St. Louis last year? He was just like, "Yeah, keep an eye out for you." So obviously, cool guy for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, you touched on like when Kimbrel showed up, and obviously like you had a couple saves under your belt this year. You got, some closer type stuff. I'm just curious, like Kimbrel comes in, what did you kind of take out of his like preparation for his closing appearances, and how he just kind of went about the game? Because obviously he's one of the best closers of all time. So there's got to be some stuff that leaks out of what he does.
Yeah, it just seems like nothing phases him, and his routine is so solidified that he just does the same thing every single time, and the way that he comes set, with his arm up is just part of what he does, right? Everything is so methodical and the same every time. So you just prepare for the best, obviously, but you need to be ready for the worst. And just doing the same thing every time is super important. I mean, yeah, he throws obviously like a fastball and a curveball like me, so try and pick his brain a little bit about that. But I mean, most guys say, what do they do with their curveball? This lighting is really bad. Is that better?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
With most guys just say throw it hard, right? So I mean, that's what I've been trying to do. Throw it hard, and I don't know, don't think too much, right?
Right. How is Wrigley Field, being one of the most storied home ballparks in baseball?
Yeah, man, it's amazing. They got like 40,000+ every game, on like a Monday or a Tuesday. It's special, to say the least. Running from the bullpen out to the mound, it's like gets you fired up for sure. And then pitching other places just isn't the same. Yeah, their fan base is incredible. It's just a sea of blue. And yeah, they do a great job from the facilities, the fans. Yeah, awesome.
Have you been a part of a Battle for Chicago yet?
Not.
No? Looking forward to that. Hopefully
Yeah,
this year. So I wanted to ask, because you've got some experience with the bat, you looking at a pinch hit in the future?
I would love one, man. I've got a couple in the minor leagues, and last year I had, I think, two. I flew out, but yeah, still waiting for that. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
You got to get David Ross to give you some BP.
Yeah, no, I gotta have a little chat with him.
Couple rounds of BP, maybe after a shutout or something like that.
Yeah, right. Maybe if we're blowing someone out, preferably the Cardinals.
So I guess you would have prepared, I suppose, for this season a little bit differently than last season, being that you finished on such a high note with your 2019 campaign there. Do you have, a forever hungry kind of mentality about going into the next season, or were you able to kind of relax a little bit more? Obviously still working hard, but able to kind of take a deep breath and get your work done in a different kind of way?
Yeah, I mean, no, there's like always guys coming up behind you that are, now trying to take my job, but for sure, like you look around the locker room, and the Cubs did a great job of bringing in some awesome talent, some awesome relievers. So definitely that drive is still there, and your spot's never truly secure. So yeah, definitely, yeah, working hard all off season, and then definitely maybe through like 3 or 4 bullpens before getting to spring, just knowing that I was going to have some time to build up, but just always working on things, always staying strong, lift big, throw hard.
Did you have any goals for this upcoming season?
Obviously you want to pitch well and pitch to the playoffs, help your team get to the playoffs. That was definitely a goal of mine. Last year, had a little bit of a slide in September, which was not ideal. That kind of took us out of the race. This year, we don't want to let that happen. So, just pitching well all year and helping the team get there.
So obviously, as a lot of people know, the MLB is trying to come up with creative ways to try to get this season in. And one of the latest proposals being spending the entire season basically separating the cactus and the grapefruit leagues and staying in Arizona or Florida. What do you think about that idea? Is that something that you like or dislike, or?
Yeah, obviously we want to play baseball, and if that's going to allow it, then for sure. But as long as everyone's safe, right? There's no reason to spread this virus any more than it already has. So if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. I mean, having a pretty good time up here at the lake. But no, for sure. If it's doable, then let's do it. And I know Florida has 2 domes. Arizona has a dome. So we can definitely get playoffs in, fly between Arizona and Florida for playoffs. Granted, the Cubs get there. Then it's definitely all doable. But yeah, for sure, it would be weird being in like a different division, right? So I don't know if they had our division. We'd be with Oakland, San Fran. I don't know who else they had. Maybe Arizona and
I guess
Colorado.
whoever's close to you guys, your spring training facilities, right?
So yeah, it would mix it up in that way, right? All the divisions, but no, it would be different. Like, what did they say? It was going to be an anomaly year, like just something weird, right? Nothing anyone's ever been through.
Yeah, definitely be a season for the record books.
Yeah, but if it's going to let us play, let's do it, right? I'm in.
A couple more things before I let you go. You played in the WBC 2017 before you had cracked the major league roster. What kind of experience was that for you as a minor league guy at the time? And you'd only been pitching for 1 full season and then a little bit of 2015 before that year, and you got to face some big leaguers.
That was my first true taste of like big league life, and just being around guys like Freddie Freeman and Dempster and Scott Matheson on that team was awesome. Just like you say, you just kind of sit there and keep your mouth shut and just watch, right? Morneau was there too. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, I think Naylor was there anyways, Tyler O'Neill. But it was like obviously that facility in Miami is awesome, and then getting to play against the Dominican in the U.S. on that field was awesome, and face Joey Bats. That was sweet. That was a big one. I remember. I think I walked him, but it was sweet. And then having Paul Quantrill as our bullpen coach, he was the guy that told me I was going in the game and flipped me the ball. It was awesome for sure. Something I will not ever forget. I love putting Canada across my chest. It's something special for sure.
2021 WBC in the books?
Yeah, let's do it. For sure.
All right. Got to get our A squad out there this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know who's going to all play, but we should be better.
Yeah. Got quite a few young guys, I think, like you and Tyler O'Neill, like you said, both young guys that could be very impactful, I think, going into the next couple of years here.
And then like Soroka, Pavetta.
Yeah, well, of course, Soroka. How could I forget?
If we can get Freddie Freeman back.
He might be over with the American boys this time.
No way. I think I don't know. Maybe if you like announce who you're going to play for one time, you have to play for that team every year. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But switch back and forth.
No. So you said that time that you faced Joey Bats, that was special for you. Is there a change in your philosophy in terms of how you pitch certain guys? Or are you kind of like, this is my good stuff, I'm going to show you my good stuff, and let's see what you can do with it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to know what guys' tendencies are. Like I face Pablo Sandoval, and he swings at strikes in the zone. I mean, off speed in the zone. So obviously I made the mistake once to throw him a curveball in the zone. He hit it. So won't do that again, right? You go with your strengths, but you have to understand what their abilities are too, and pitch to that. So you get their scouting report, but at the end of the day, if your stuff's better, your stuff's better. But sometimes their stuff's better. So just learning what you can do is really important.
So just to wrap up, there's a lot of kids that are probably trying to do exactly what you've done, make it to the big leagues. Do you have any advice for like a 17-year-old Rowan Wick right now?
Work hard. Yeah, like my high school coach said, when no one's looking, that's when it's the most important. So keep your head down, take those extra swings. If you're not getting better, someone else is.
Makes sense. Beat the person that's in the shadows, right?
Right.
And just lastly, what have you been doing to stay in shape? Like any advice that you have for kids right now that, they can't go to the ball field and play with their friends. They can't try to, they don't have practices coming up. They can't even really go to a gym right now. But what have you been doing to stay in shape that can help them?
Yeah, baseball puts a lot of like abuse on your body. So 17-year-old Rowan trying to pitch. What's up, Josh? Oh yeah, baseball puts obviously a lot of torque and whatever abuse on your body. So use the time to rest. But if you can get out there and play catch, maybe with your dad you've been quarantined with. But yeah, I have a little setup in my backyard that I got some kettlebells and some weights, a bench, and a assault bike. So trying to stay in shape that way. I mean, you can always go for a run. Great outdoors, right?
Yeah.
As long as you do it
He's
by
good for
yourself.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely take the time to rest and prepare for the season, because hopefully there is one.
Yeah. I think there will be. I think there will be.
I'm hoping there is too.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you, stopping by, or, not stopping by, I guess, but I appreciate you logging on and giving us your time and talking about, your journey and pitching in the major leagues and playing for the Cubs and being a Cub and all that good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for running this Instagram. This is awesome. Saw you had Lewis on and Scotty. But yeah, thank you. And thank you, Baseball BC.
All right, man. Again, I appreciate it. This has been great. Good luck this season. I hope it happens sooner rather than later. And good luck with the Cubs this year.
For sure, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care.